Hello there. It's been quite a while. It's been a few months, nearly a half a year since I made my last episode, so thank you very much for joining in. Welcome to my new episode of my Thoughtcast. I am a designer and I'm wandering around and I'm thinking. I like to think about stuff, and today I'm thinking about making the right decision. If you know me personally, or even if you followed my process in this year on social media, you probably noticed that I am in the process of building my kind of future. So, more or less, I started this 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. I didn't actually start then, but it was kind of the starting point for taking responsibility and really doing things. And taking responsibility for yourself really means to make many little and big decisions. And all of those little decisions are kind of easy. You don't take too many risks and you feel relatively free because you can decide. And therefore, it's not a big pain to make these decisions. But then there are these big decisions you have to make. Maybe it's about which route to follow when you're studying, or it could be other decisions like taking a job at a successful company or just settle in a smaller business so you can focus on your own plans. For some people, it seems always to be easy to make the right decisions, right? Let's think of stereotypical extroverts. They often seem to be successful people with a lot of knowledge and a big network, always positive and always calibrated. Seamlessly, they also seem to make the right decisions every time. But the truth is, they're just good at acting. They know what words they can use to seem competent. The obvious thing to say here is that also these people are struggling sometimes to make the right decisions. They just won't show it. I don't really think that there is anything like pure extroverts or pure introverts at all. Like in many other things, psychology is a spectrum. For myself, when I'm around people I know and I feel safe, I do seem like an extrovert. But anyone who knows me a little closer knows that I really have to fill up my resources after being in crowded spaces or having a busy week. I think I'm a relatively creative person. But at the same time, I do think of myself as relatively rational in some ways. I am not a mathematician and I'm also not a banker. From my own experiences in other parts of my life, for example, in my creative projects, I do feel that it makes creative decisions a lot easier and way more dynamic when different viewpoints come together to work on solutions. So, coming from this point of view, I do also tend to ask many other people about their opinions when it comes to my decisions. A lot of times this can be really, really helpful, especially when you don't have all the facts and you kind of rely on the expertise of other people. But when it comes to those big decisions, which probably also have a pretty big impact on your personal life, it can actually make your decision even harder when you talk with too many people about it. The positive side is that you get many inputs and many different viewpoints from different ages and different life experiences. But in the end, it's all about what you want for yourself. And if you heard some of my other Thoughtcast episodes, you probably know what's coming now. You are the only person who can validate the right decision for yourself. In the end, you will have to live with your decision, and you will probably have to work hard to make your decision the right decision. Although I appreciate different viewpoints and different arguments of what decision is the right decision, I noticed that in those decisions where I involved too many people, I started to feel this inner pressure to not make the right thing even more. Because time doesn't stop, eventually you will decide one way or another. but the path it took to make that decision only got harder day by day. In the end, it's still you who has to validate and decide. So the question probably is, how do I validate my decision? It's really hard to have a single answer to this question, since every decision is completely different to another and possibly has many more factors and more options to it. So I'm thinking about my personal situation, and I have some questions that come to mind, but I'm going to keep it as open as possible. For example, is it something you were working towards to? Is it essential? Meaning, is it something you always wanted, or what is going to make you happier in the long run? Are there external factors that make you feel forced, or is it just yourself in the first place who makes you make a decision? What are the arguments against your potential decision? Are there financial or even physical hurdles? Are there emotions involved from other people like friends or family? Or, and don't get this wrong, ask yourself, is it just easier for yourself? Again, think about what is going to make you happier in the long run. It's often ourselves who stand in the way of ourselves. We tend to overthink the right decision because we're insecure. Making big decisions has to do a lot with stepping out of your comfort zone. And obviously, we all like our comfort zone. It's what we know. It's how we live. It's the people around us. It's the way we make a living. But we often forget that we humans are made to adapt. We are capable of a lot of things, and also we get used to new situations pretty fast. In the end, we will never know what the right decision was. Eventually, it's about how we deal with the situation, regardless of what your choice was. So again, even if it seems unreachable, think about what is going to make you happier in the long run.